Hi everyone, it's Elizabeth from Elpis Astrology at elpisastrology.com. Thanks for joining me today. So today this is going to be my video on my take on the astrology for February 2024. I hope everyone's had a great start to the new year. So this month of February is an interesting month. There's a huge influence of the sign Aquarius for lots of different reasons, and I'll get into that as we go through the different aspects for February. But that really struck me. And so we're really looking at unexpected things happening potentially. And it doesn't have to be unexpected bad things. But it can also, I thought, from a worldwide standpoint, I thought there could be sudden things happen, like earthquakes. And we've already got things going on right now, right? Earthquakes as well as volcanoes and lava spilling out in Iceland and all over the place. But there could be, bigger increases in that where we see these unexpected things popping out of the earth. So that's one thing that struck me about all this Aquarian energy that's around in February. But also, when we look at it from an individual standpoint, I really felt that change is in the air. So I guess if there was a statement to cover my feelings of February 2024, it is change is in the air, and it's going to be around every corner. That's what I thought for February. Okay, let's get into the astrology. So let's start off first of all with the birthdays that I think will be very much affected, especially this year. So this year we still have Pluto going into Aquarius for most of the year, but it does dip back in at 29 degrees of Capricorn. So if you've got your birthday around the 20th, 21st, or 22nd of January at any year, you're going to be more dramatically affected by the goings on of Pluto being at 0 or 1 degree or 2 degree of Aquarius or 29 degrees of Capricorn. So I'm just going to take the conjunction of Pluto on those points as opposed to the squares, the trines, and oppositions. Or if you've got something, maybe your ascendant, or you've got a conglomeration of planets, for instance, all around that 29 of Capricorn to, I would say, 3 of Aquarius, then you're going to be more affected than anybody else this year especially. So when we look at the 2nd of February, right off the bat, we have Mercury sextiling Neptune. Well, this is beautiful. This is feeling inspiration. So this is inspirational thoughts, right? The other thing it can do is bring in these opportunities to express yourself artistically. And I'm thinking in particular, those people that are involved in the arts. And I'm talking about dance, as well as music, writing music, or actually playing the music as well, is very favored around that 2nd of February. When we look at the 8th of February, which is the day before we actually have our first new moon, there's a lot of activity happening that kind of carries into the effect or the effects of the new moon, which will be in Aquarius. So what have we got? We have on the 8th of February, we've got Mars sextile Neptune. So this is inspirational action. The big one, though, on this day that will add a bit of flavor to the new moon in Aquarius is the Sun square Uranus. And this is a big one. So Sun square Uranus can make you accident prone. Certainly ego conflicts can be at the fore here. Also a desire just to break free. And again, on a sort of earth level, earthquakes could be coming around this time period, right? So I would say the beginning, that first week into the second week of February 2024. So there's a lot of wonderful inspiration to act, for instance, almost like a spiritual warrior type thing with the Mars sextile Neptune. But then there's this other side of, I want to get out of here. I don't have any patience. So I would say, especially around that new moon on the 9th of February, these sorts of feelings may come up as a general feeling amongst all of us. So just be careful not to, you're driving and all that type of thing. Those few days around that, so we'll take 7th, 8th, 9th, maybe 10th of February. If you find yourself, you're really impatient in your car, just breathe deeply and know that this will pass. Now, when we look at the next day on the 9th of February, we do have that new moon at 20 degrees of Aquarius, 40 minutes, and it will be at 2:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So here we've got the first new moon in Aquarius, right? So again, we're talking about Aquarius being setting the tone here right at the beginning of February 2024. Certainly if you've got your birthday around this time period, this is a whole new start for you. But to all my Aquarian viewers and clients, I say Happy New Year to you. This is your official start. At this new moon, we have Mercury square Jupiter. This can bring in elements of exaggeration. It can bring in taking risks when maybe you shouldn't. It also has speaking out without thinking. It's that whole foot in mouth, mouth disease. But, nicely we have Venus trine Uranus. And so this is ushering in these favorable energies for what? For love, for potentially money coming your way, for your value of yourself increasing. And then we have that continuing effect of Mars sextile Neptune and Jupiter sextile Saturn at that time. And so these are lovely energies, I would say, in terms of opportunities to change structures in our lives, opportunities to express ourselves artistically. All those types of things could be up at that new moon. Like I said, the only fly in the ointment is that continuing square with the sun squaring Uranus. So patience is what I would say is the order of the day. All right, so when we look at the 13th of February, we have that continuing Venus sextile Neptune. And this is beautiful. This can bring in, for those that are open to it, it can bring in this lovely feeling of a soulmate type energy, right? It can bring a really high level, this real compassion, almost like agape love as well, right? Where you really are in tune. It can also bring beautiful things that could manifest. And, when we talk about Neptune being in Pisces, we're talking about music, we're talking about dance, perhaps sculpture as well. So this 13th of February would be a good day to do or start initiating opportunities to express those types of things, right? Okay, so when we look at the 14th of February, which is Valentine's Day in most places, we unfortunately have Mars will be conjuncting Pluto. And so this is a big one. I might maybe instead have my celebrations for the Valentine's Day the day before when Venus sextiles Neptune, because this is really going to have a lot of us, if you have something around these degree points, and so we're talking at 0-1 degree of Aquarius, it's going to be this overriding desire to control things. The positive part of this, though, is with Mars conjunct Pluto is great strength for heavy work. So if by chance on that 14th of February or the days surrounding it, you do have to do some heavy work, or if you're really putting big energy, say, into things like exercise programs, weightlifting would be an example here that you'd be positively supported in terms of the energy that you'd be putting into it. But severe ego conflicts could be at the fore here. So in the general collective, we may have a lot of people, having these ego conflicts around this 14th of February, right? Okay, so when we go to the 17th of February, we have now Mercury will be square Uranus. And then Venus now will have this opportunity of conjuncting Pluto. And this Venus conjunct Pluto is the last sort of personal inner planet that will be conjuncting that point that I discussed in my January video, which was the Sun conjuncting Pluto first at 29 Capricorn, then right away, within hours, conjuncting Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So we're talking here about the final inner planet in February conjuncting that point and activating it. So look back to, say, the 19th, 20th, 21st of January. What came up at that time? And it might have been something that was, it could have been something internal, like an epiphany of some sort or a realization, either by you internally or from the outside world coming in. Because that, whatever happened around that time period, especially if you've got, something around those degrees to have a real effect, you have these personal planets all during the first half of February conjunct that point. And the final one, as I just mentioned, is Venus conjuncting Pluto here on the 17th of February. So I would say that Venus does represent money. It also represents love, and it represents the value of ourselves and our values. So I would say that it's almost like it's putting a final seal on something is what this is doing with this Venus. Venus can also make things seem nice. It can take the rough edges off stuff as well. So it does soften to some extent the more intense aspects of Pluto here. And it certainly can bring in this love into your life. So if you've got something around 0, 1, 2 degrees of Aquarius, this could bring in this unbelievable, intense experience of love. But it can also bring in, I would say, perhaps money, developing money. Now, if we take it out to the collective, this could be a time when we have a transformation of our money in the collective. So the currency that we use is transformed. And the transformation may come through people in power. That's Pluto, right? So you might want to mark that 17th of February, something to do with that, just generally speaking in the collective, unless you have something around those degree points. And as I mentioned, we also have on the 17th of February that Mercury square Uranus. So this is unpleasant news, or news that's jarring, that's unexpected. Didn't think that was going to happen type thing. Okay. So let's go down to the 22nd of February when we've got Venus conjuncting Mars. Now, this might be a nice day to celebrate Valentine's Day because these are the celestial lovers, right? Now, it is in Aquarius, so we're looking at more of an intellectual feeling as opposed to romantic feelings here. So this could be also a good day to have new friendships develop at this time too, right? But it could also have, if we look at the money part, unexpected money coming your way, love coming your way, as I've already mentioned, or that you feel that your value for some reason has gone up. So the next thing we have is, of course, our full moon. And the full moon in February will be in Virgo. It's going to be at 5 degrees of Virgo, 23 minutes at 4:31 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And that's on the 24th of February. So Virgo, this is a wrap up for you of some sort. It is a big spotlight being shone on something. Now, when we look at Virgo, we're really talking about service for sure, right? We're talking about our health as well. Virgo also rules the area of small animals. But really, this is, to me, saying there's some kind of wrap up here with regards to maybe the service that you've been giving. Virgos are hard workers as well. So I would say that this is, for some folks that have something around that 5 degree of Virgo mark, this could be an ending of some kind of service project, for instance. Maybe you've been volunteering to do some things that you now say, okay, I'm going to close the door on that. At its best, because this is still at the beginning of the year, and for those folks that do make New Year's resolutions, this could be a time period where you say, I've got to take better care of my health. And certainly this would be a good time to realize that you've got to make changes here. For others, it may actually be an external event. Maybe someone externally says, you go in for your checkup and they say, you need to take better care of your health. Your triglycerides are off a little bit here, but if you start doing this with your diet, you'll be fine. You gained a little bit too much weight. Maybe just start cutting back a bit on some of the things that put weight on for you. So just doing this new exercise program may come into view where you need to start looking at that and end an old way of doing things in those areas that I've just discussed. Okay, so some of the aspects around this full moon in Virgo are Venus will still be conjuncting Mars in Aquarius. I just spoke about that. But interesting, the North Node is going to be conjunct Chiron. So to me, this really does tie in nicely with the whole health aspect that I mentioned. Chiron is or can be to do with our health and also where we're wounded too. And the North Node says this is an opportunity here for you to change the trajectory of your destiny with regards to where you're wounded or your health matters. We're going to have Venus as well as Saturn will be conjuncting the Sun. And then that aspect in turn is going to be opposing the full moon itself in Virgo. So this might just be a reality check. And again, I think this goes back to the reality check of the full moon. Maybe I've just been giving too much here and I need to have a reality check with regards to what I'm doing. For others, it may be a reality check with regards to the love in your life, a reality check with regards to how much money I've been spending. Maybe over the Christmas holidays, those credit card bills are going to start coming in and you realize you've got to really start taking care of how you spend your money. And that would be a good way to positively use the effects of the full moon here too, right? Nicely, though, we have Jupiter sextiling Saturn. And so this is beautiful too. So whatever it is that's come to light for you at this full moon in Virgo, here comes Jupiter to say, I'm going to give you the opportunity here to positively change the structures that you've got around you, to get real, but I'm going to help you get real. So it's like Jupiter could be an advisor. It could be a teacher too. Say you decide you want to change up how you eat. So this could be consulting a nutritionist. It could be consulting maybe somebody who's a trainer to help you exercise better and lose the weight that you want to lose. Positive ways of using that full moon in Virgo. Certainly, I've come to the conclusion, I don't usually do New Year's resolutions, but I have made one this year. I had a number of things happen with regards to communications from people, to people, that sort of thing. That happened to me around that whole Mercury at 22 degrees of Sagittarius. I know I had mentioned to one of my videos that does conjunct my own Mercury. And so, yes, I did have a number of things happen that woke me up, woke my head up, my thoughts up, to say that I have not been nurturing myself and really taking care of me and putting myself as number one. For over 40 years, I started looking back and realizing how much I had given to so many. And really, I think a lot of it wasn't even recognized. And I guess the worst part of it is I didn't recognize that it wasn't being recognized. But it's okay. No hard feelings. But I am now going to be starting to take care of me, and me is going to be number one. I have a Cancer rising too, so anyone who's got a Cancer rising will also understand what that means. We just like to give to people and help people out, but sometimes we need to be reminded that that's not always a good thing for us. And that's what I've woken up to. All right, when we go on to the 25th of February, we have Venus now squaring Jupiter. So this could just, both these are benefics. And so they work nicely together. And even in a square, it can be positive. It could work out where we, maybe this money that we put into some, let's just say some kind of investment, doesn't look like it's going to be turning out the way we want it to. The love that we have in our life just isn't somehow working out for some reason. Maybe you inflated the actual love that was there, and now you're beginning to see that maybe I'm going to have to work at this love relationship. It doesn't mean nothing will happen. But it can also just be a very pleasant time with these two beautiful planets, even in square, that you could also benefit from love at this time as well. The other thing that you could also have happen is that money is of benefit to you. Maybe that check that you've been waiting for to come in finally comes in, or the money that you were promised from a client, they finally send you a Venmo and you get it into your account. Those positive things can happen too. I know most astrologers talk about squares as big challenges, and certainly they can be, but because these are two benefics, generally speaking, it's just going to be something that's not overridingly bad. It just may mean, I would say, more of an adjustment to do with your money, to do with love, and perhaps also the value of yourself. On the 27th of February, we have Mars now squaring Jupiter. Now, this is a little different. So this to me says there's going to be a challenge with regards to maybe doing any kind of expansion that you want to do, depending where this falls in your chart. It can also have a delay of some sort put in. Maybe you want to move forward with, say an investment, and for some reason, you just can't make it happen. Or just generally speaking, you want to move forward with something, maybe take a risk, because Jupiter can be taking risks as well, and you can't move forward. In the general collective, this can pan out as Jupiter can represent foreign people, foreign places, and Mars is energy, and there's some kind of block. And literally, this could be a blockade of some sort as well. A blockade is put in place with regards to foreign people, foreign lands. Also, this could also boil down to travel. Travel becomes difficult for some reason. I'm talking now on the collective level, around the 27th of Feb, 2024. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is actually look at your ascendants or rising signs and or your sun signs. But before I do that, I think I'd like to talk a little bit about March. Let's just talk about March. What's going to be up for March for you? Well, March is going to start the eclipse season, right? And so we're going to have our first eclipse. This will be towards the last week in March 2024. We'll have our first eclipse. It's going to be a full moon eclipse at 5 degrees of Libra. We're going to have our new moon towards the beginning of March, and that's going to be at 20 degrees of Pisces. Some difficult aspects that we're going to have is a Mars square Uranus, and the Sun will be conjunct Neptune. But I'll talk more about that in my March video. Okay, let's move on to the ascendants, rising signs, and sun signs. All right, so Aquarius, this is a big month for you, Aquarius. And honestly, I don't think it really matters where your either sun sign, your sun is, and or where your ascendant is in Aquarius. You're going to have some activation here with regards especially to the inner planets, because that's the big news for you, Aquarius, is that whatever happened, say around the 20th or so of January 2024, is going to be activated 3 times through the first half of February for you at that 0 degree point of Aquarius. So for sure, if you've got something around 0 degrees of Aquarius, this February is going to, it's going to be a big activation for you, for sure, right? But I would say for all Aquarians, there's going to be some interesting messages come in, some interesting actions that are either you're going to take or things will happen to you. And then it's going to culminate with this whole Venus at 0 degrees of Aquarius, where, this could be love come into your life. Your value is appreciated. You have money come in that you want. Maybe you put some effort into making some extra money here. So it can go from like something really big to something very not big at all. It all depends where you've got and if you've got anything around that 0 degree mark of Aquarius. But this could be, if you do have something around 0 degrees of Aquarius, this could be a month where everything changes for you in a very positive way, that the transformation you can see of your life. It could literally do like a 180. So for those Aquarians that do have something like this happen in February, leave some comments. So, we can share that with everybody that comes on my site and watches my videos. And of course, I'm always interested. So wonderful new starts here for you. As I mentioned before, if you've got something around that 20-degree mark of Aquarius, certainly this coming year is going to be a year of lots of newness, right? Now, the only thing about that new moon, Aquarius, is that, of course, we've got that square that's happening, the sun squaring Uranus. So just as I said in the beginning of my video, just have some patience where you feel you're getting irritated. And this is a general theme for the collective, but especially for you as an Aquarius. Try not to get offended by things. Try not to pull the trigger when there's a lot of emotions behind it. Try to just breathe, take a breath, and maybe make some decisions later. But you're going to be influenced by, I got to change this now. I got to break out of this now. Or I'm right here. That type of feeling is going to be in around that new moon. Okay, so just take care and have patience. Now, when we look at that full moon, that is in Virgo, well, that's going to be in your 8th house. So the 8th house, traditionally, really, we look at things like any shared resources, our investments, 401k pensions, taxes. What else have we got? Credit cards, mortgages. Those are all 8th house. But we also have the 8th house ruling things like our psychological self. It is also the deepening of a relationship involving a sexual relationship is also part of this. And it's also the house of secrets and potentially healing too. So there may be some secrets that pop out here at the full moon because it's a full moon for some Aquarians. For others, there may be maybe a maturing of an investment that's significant for you that you need to pay attention to. Now, Virgo kind of rules the health area of our life, our service area of our life. And so there may be some Aquarians where there's a spotlight put on your mental health, where you realize you've got to take better care of yourself and your mental health here. And it may be something as simple as, or maybe not as simple as, you stop this huge service to everybody and realize that you've got to put some service towards yourself and take better care of yourself, which could then equate into, I've got to eat better. I've got to exercise and take care of my body better as well. So they all kind of work together. So that can be illuminated for you at this full moon. But it can also, for other Aquarians, it may just be a wrap up of some kind of service. Maybe the service was for a year or a certain length of time. And you see that is ending now, that you no longer have to, pay service to that. For others, it might just be a retirement time, right? Where you decide, I'm not going to do my job anymore. I want to retire and now access all these investments, pensions, and funds that I have been putting away for all these years. All right. Take care, Aquarius. All right, Pisces. So Pisces, that new moon that is in Aquarius at 20 degrees on the 9th of February will be in your 12th house. And as a sign, Pisces rules the 12th house. So I would say that's a favorable thing. But what might be happening to some Pisces is, because remember, you still have the influence here of Saturn in your sign as well, right, Pisces? So you've got Saturn in here wanting to put structures together for you. And at its highest, structures with regards to maybe meditation, healing, any of the metaphysical world, right? Now, this could have you just getting more engaged in that, maybe some new initiative in that area of the metaphysical. But it could also have you doing some new initiative with regards to hidden places. And that could include hospitals or ashrams. Certainly, this would be a great time for you to go to an ashram, take up some metaphysical things, some wonderful meditation practices, yoga, all that type of thing would be very favored at this time. Certainly getting in touch with your spiritual side, and putting new initiatives in place with regards to that will be favored. The 12th house is really what we talk about behind the scenes or in hidden places. That's kind of what we talk about here. But it is also the place where we may be avoiding things, where we push things under the carpet and don't look at them. So there may be some new thing that you decide to do where you look at what you've been avoiding. You look at what maybe you've not been attending to that's been tripping you up. And like I said, you've got both Saturn and Neptune in your sign. And I really think when they work well together, they can help you, first of all, see things that maybe you've not been seeing. They can give you inspiration. That is going to be Neptune. And then also the Saturn can put structures that are needed in your life in a positive way, right? Now, when we look at that whole influence of the Sun squaring Uranus with regards to you, Pisces, this could have you boiling in your head with maybe some kind of anger of some sort or frustration. That whole setup of the Sun square Uranus around this new moon can have you feeling frustrated that you can't express what you want to say. And of course, a lot of times these types of things that are in your head, maybe ruminating over and over again, can then come out as an accident or hurting yourself or, something with regards to you decide to start speeding in your car. So don't do any of those things. I would say that if those things start coming up where you're ruminating over something, you're getting very frustrated, try to breathe through it. Be careful with your driving and any accident-prone things that might be around. And maybe try to go into a meditation of some sort. And the meditation, Pisces, can be something as simple as taking your dog out for a walk, going for a nice walk on your own in a forest type thing. Or if you're in a colder climate, going to look at the beautiful snow around you all over the place. That could be a very nice way to do this meditation and to get yourself out of this frustrated energy that may come up around that new moon on the 9th of February. Now, when we look at that full moon in Virgo, which will be on the 24th of February, well, that is opposite your sign. And so this could have something come up with regards to your partner, business partner, marriage partner, or your clients. And so there may be some kind of spotlight shone in that area of your life where maybe you're not directly involved with it, but it affects you because you interact with those people. That 7th house also represents any other, right? So there may be some reason that you have to deal with other people at that full moon. Something comes to light for you with regards to, like I said, business partner, marriage partner, or clients. I'm thinking because it's Virgo, you may decide to end some way of eating. Maybe your exercise program. For you, there may be also some element here of giving service. Maybe there's going to be some Pisces to say, yeah, I've had a lot of clients where I'm constantly giving service and I need to get better care of myself. And that comes to light for you, where you decide to end a certain way of giving a service to other people. And that is wrapped up at this point, at that full moon in Virgo. For others, it might be just the end of maybe some health crises that you've had, where you've been doing what you've been told to do, doing the medications or maybe certain types of therapy of some sort. And you now come to the end where the doctor says, hey, you know what? All that hard work you've put into improving your health is paying off. And you're able to see the end, shut that door on maybe a bad health problem, right? All right. Take care of yourself, Pisces. So Aries, that first new moon that will be in Aquarius sextiles your sign and aspects your 11th house. Just on the surface, Aries, this could have you making wonderful new friends. It could have you taking the initiative to join new groups. It could have you taking the opportunity to look at some of those hopes, dreams, and wishes, and maybe putting some New Year's resolutions to the fore, where you decide, I want to make one of those wishes or dreams come true here. And you see an opportunity where that can happen. That opportunity may come through friends that you know, or new friends that you make, or the groups that you actually belong to. As a sign, Aries likes to lead. So another thing that you could have happen is this opportunity to lead in a group type setting. One of the groups you belong to, say, would you be the president this year of our society? That could happen for you too. But this is positive to have a sextile with this new moon. So I would say take advantage of that, especially taking advantage of new friends, because I think this will lead you to that whole Aquarius influence in the friends sector is, unusual friends, friends maybe that are very intellectual. It can also activate social media type things as well. So there may be some Aries that activate this whole social media things, maybe even get involved with maybe groups that you belong to that ask you to set up some kind of social media accounts for the actual group themselves. And that could be a fun activity for you. Maybe it'll even translate into something that you've always wanted to do, right? Those hopes and wishes. Now, the full moon that will be in Virgo will be in your 6th house. And in the natural zodiac, Virgo does rule the 6th house. So I see this as a positive thing when we've got the sign aspected here in the house that it rules. So for some folks, this could have you deciding that, you know what, I've had enough of not taking care of my body, whether it's through, nutrition or through exercise programs, and I need to put something in effect here. Like there's a big light shone on you. Maybe you go in for your yearly health checkup and your doctor says, you've got to make some changes here. Well, this would be a good time to look at what changes you need to make, right? And then maybe make that New Year's resolution to do something about it. Maybe to work with somebody who knows all the details of how to do this. I mean, Virgo is very much a detailed-oriented sign. So you could work with someone that puts the details together for you in a really good way where you can improve your health. For others, it may have you wrapping up maybe a health crisis. Where maybe you had something come to light months ago that now you see as a result of all the hard work that you've been doing, that you wrap up a bad health situation and that you can close the door and move forward. The other thing is that for those Aries that maybe have been working in some area of their day-to-day job that had to do with service, that you decide you no longer want to work in the service industry, for instance. That's a kind of a direct translation. At this full moon, you say, I want to end working in the service industry. I don't want to do service anymore. And you make that decision around the 24th of February at that full moon in Virgo. It could also be a time when facts or important facts and information come to light with regards to your day-to-day job that are important for you. And if you don't work, it's whatever you do in your day-to-day, right? That something comes to light that says, I don't think I want to do that anymore. Or that important information comes to light with regards to, I didn't realize what I was doing day-to-day isn't really helping me in my health, and I've got to make a change here. And for each individual, it's going to be different, right? Now, you are still hosting eclipses in your sign, Aries. So still this year, you have 2 eclipses that will be happening in Libra. And then you've got one big eclipse in April, a total new moon eclipse on the 8th of April, which is going to be super important, especially Aries, if you've got something around the 19 degrees mark of Aries. I'll talk more about that really in my April video. But certainly that's something to look forward to in terms of a new start. All right. Take care of yourself, Aries. So Taurus, that Aquarius new moon, along with Mercury, Mars, and Venus in Aquarius in February will all be squaring you, and it'll be affecting your 10th house of career. Honestly, I see this not as a negative thing for most Taurians. I think February, for a lot of Taurians, is going to be this chance to change your career. That, it's like everything lines up for you with regards to you making that change that you need to make in your career. I think as long as you pay attention to what's coming in, so I'm talking about these personal planets that are going to be really conjuncting that 0-degree mark of Aquarius that was initiated in January, around the 20th, 21st of January, when the Sun conjuncted Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So certainly, if you have anything around that point of 0 degrees, this will be a big month for you to change your career, straight out. So for those Taurians listening to this and watching this that want to change your career, start putting out energy with regards to get the headhunters if you need to. Start actively looking for jobs now. I'm making this sort of mid-January 2024. But I think the squares could work in your favor. All the squares are, in my mind, saying for you, Taurus, is put some effort into this to enact the change. Don't wait for the change to happen to you. You'll have lots of support from lots of people from the outside to help you make the change and potentially help you, in the end, have value of yourself, because it's going to be Venus is the last inner planet that will be conjuncting on the 17th of February, conjuncting that 0 degrees of Aquarius. So money and value of yourself could also materialize for you in February for sure. Just put the effort in, take on challenges. Say you want to get a higher level job in the career that you're doing. Well, take on those challenges that come in from the outside and make them happen. Put the effort in, and it'll be noticed this month. When we look at that full moon in Virgo, well, it positively trines your sign and affects your 5th house. So the 5th house, this could bring in, if it's something that you want, even though it's a full moon, because it's a trine, it could bring to light for you, put a big spotlight on some love in your life. Now, what you may decide to do is to end just dating somebody, end that, and decide to make this a more serious relationship where you actually announce, I have a serious relationship here. It's not just me dating. So something like that could happen with that trine too. The other thing that could happen, because it's Virgo and it's all about service, it's about collecting information, it's about health, you could do some kind of big creative project in those areas. So if that's something you want to do. Or for others, that 5th house can represent your own business. So there's going to be some Taurians that will be putting their own business together with regards to what? Some kind of service-oriented business of your own. Potentially something to do with health, and that could include exercise, it can include nutrition, it can include mental health as well, right? And so this is like really positive beaming energy into that house. Children may also be positively aspected here. There may be some Taurians that give birth around that 24th of February. That could happen with the 5th house too. But the 5th house too also says you've got to have some fun here. So I would say look at that towards the end of February as some real opportunities to have fun. And that fun could be to do with some kind of service-oriented business of yours, but that you actually enjoy what you're doing. So have a think about that, right? Now, Taurus, we know that you still have Uranus, but luckily you still have Jupiter in your sign too. And so with both these planets still in Taurus, this is also going to be enacting positive change for you. The Jupiter conjunct Uranus that's going to happen towards the end of April 2024 could really be a turning point for some Taurians where some lucky break happens. So we're talking about February, I know here, but for those Taurians that have really been through a lot of change and disruption and unexpected things happening, some unpleasant, know that that April time period could be very, very fortunate where big turnarounds happen for you. So be positive and know that there's good things ahead for you, Taurus. Take care of yourself, Taurus. All right, so Gemini, that new moon in Aquarius at 20 degrees on the 9th of February is going to be trining your sign, and it will be in your 9th house. Well, this is great. So there's going to be some kind of unexpected new beginning for you with regards to any 9th house matters. So the 9th house represents things like travel, unexpected opportunities, maybe to take some travel that you've always wanted to do. And it all turns out, all the communications that you have with regards to who you're going with, where you're going, hotels, flights, etc., all come together for you at this time. It could also, for some, decide to do some advanced education. For others, it could have something to do with the law. If you're involved in the law, this is a trine forming favorable energy to get those things resolved. For others, it might see this new opportunity to get something published. Maybe you've been writing something or putting something together that you finally see published. And it doesn't have to be a book. It could be just, say, a report that you've been working really hard on, and you get a chance to actually publish it and have people see all the work that you've been doing and all the information that you've been collecting at this time, right? The 9th house also rules foreign people, foreign things. It also rules things like, visas, green cards, and that sort of stuff. So there may be some new beginning, unexpected new thing that happens for some folks that are Geminis as well at this time, this new moon, and that's on the 9th of February. Now, when we look at that full moon in Virgo, well, that squares your sign and it aspects your 4th house. So that just says, I would say there could be words, because we're talking about this, you being a Gemini, and Gemini is all about thoughts, words, talking, collecting information. So there could be some harsh words with regards to the 4th house. And the 4th house is the home that you live in. It's your childhood home. It is your mother, and by extension, it's your family. So all these things could come up in terms of a challenge for you, a big spotlight put on it. And the spotlight could have something to do with health. So either your health or maybe someone in your family's health comes to light here, and maybe you've got to step in. And it's a challenge to do it. You're still doing full-time work, but something, let's just say something happens to your mother or one of your family members, and you are now assigned to take care of something in that home. And it's a challenge for you to do it. It could also kind of be a little bit of an opposite thing, where maybe someone in your family comes to live with you, or you go to live with somebody in your family. And it's a challenge to get all the kinks worked out to make everybody comfortable in that situation. So that could be up here too. For others, it just might be trying to get a home to live in presents itself as difficult, or buying a home isn't as straightforward as you would have imagined. And there's challenges on that front too. Just keep on checking off those challenges, seeing what you've got to do next, and just keep putting effort into it. That's a square, and it should all turn out fine for you. Gemini, what you've got to look forward to is starting around the 3rd week of May this year, 2024. You have favorable, lucky, beneficial Jupiter going into your sign, Gemini. So that's absolutely something positive for you to look forward to. And that effect is going to last to the 1st week in June, 2025. This is a 12-year transit. I'll talk more about it in May, but I just wanted to give you something to look forward to. When you've got Jupiter in your sign, lots of good things happen to you. Good luck and benefits come your way. Something to look forward to, Gemini. Take care of yourself, Gemini. All right, Cancer. So Cancer, that new moon in Aquarius is going to be in your 8th house. And so we're talking about some kind of new beginning in here. You may decide that you want to start putting more money into your 401k if you work. Great way to use it. And it'll be supported for sure with those inner planets, the personal inner planets. And that would be Mercury, Mars, and Venus. And it's in that vein that we're going to have that conjunction with 0 degrees of Aquarius in your 8th house. So in some ways, this is an activation of your investments. Like I said, one of the ways to use it would be, I'm going to add more money in here to my coffers for my future 401k. It could just be for other people you decide to invest in more things. It could be for others that you work out unique ways with regards to sharing the money that you share with other people. Maybe that's going to be you actively setting up joint bank accounts, joint investments, that type of thing could also happen here at this time. 8th house is also our psychological selves. And so there may be a unique opportunity for you at this new moon in Aquarius to work with someone in an unusual way to help heal maybe some mental issue or psychological issue that has been maybe there for a long time. So you may take up some psychological therapy. Good thing to do at this new moon, new start, right? There could be some real epiphanies that happen as a result of you working with someone in therapy for sure. For others, it might just be some new start happens with regards to maybe you get approved for a loan. You applied for a loan that you maybe didn't think you'd get, or that you get more money than you thought. You get approved for more money should you want it. That could come up at this time too. Like I said, we're going to have this activation of other inner planets. It's not going to activate this degree point of 20 degrees, but it's still going to be in Aquarius, right? So there's some activity with regards to this whole 8th house. The other thing is serious sexual relationships are aspected by the 8th house too. So there could be some very pleasant moments in February in that area of your life too. So Cancer, when we look at that full moon in Virgo, well, that forms a beautiful sextile with your sign and aspects the 3rd house. So this is very favorable for any kind of communications, any writing that you might do. Maybe you're going to wrap up some writing that you've been working hard on, and you can see into the future of you getting this published. How exciting would that be? The other thing is it could be short journeys come up as something that you're going to have to do. Maybe some job opportunity comes up where they say, you've got to go collect pieces of information from different institutions, and you're going to have to travel short distances to do that. But these are positive things for you, not negative things, right? For others, it may be that you're going to be in contact more with your siblings for some reason, or that you just get opportunities to interact with your siblings and or your neighbors a lot more too. But like I said, it could be for some Cancers, you get this wrap up of this writing project or wrap up of collecting information that's really positive for you. The 3rd house is also things like sales and commerce. So maybe you're going to be signing a deal with regards to working with somebody in a sales and commerce way, and it gets wrapped up at this full moon. Virgo is all about service. So this, say, sales and commerce type initiative could have something to do with a service of some sort, could have something to do with health, because Virgo also rules health too. All right, Cancer, take care of yourself. So Leo, that new moon in Aquarius, well, it opposes your sign. And so it really involves the 7th house. And the 7th house, we really talk about our partners, our business partners, our marriage partners, and our clients, and any other, right? And typically when we talk about others, we're talking about people that we usually sign contracts for or have a more formal agreement of some sort. And so this really puts a spotlight on your partner. So I would say your partner may have some kind of opportunities to come up. Now, we're talking about you, Leo. And so this could be something to do with those areas of life that I just mentioned, where maybe your partner gets an opportunity to form a business partnership, but it directly affects you because maybe they're going to be pulling in some more money in for you as a result of putting a business partnership together. Maybe their client base is going to take off for her or him. And you unexpectedly can see more money coming in through that way. Or that they get these new opportunities that come out through, say, social media, YouTube, Instagram, that type of thing. And so the spotlight is on your partner or business partner and or your marriage partner. More activity in their area that you're looking at and seeing that does affect you, but that you're not actually involved in it. The way you would get involved in it if it is your clients. So there's going to be some Leos that have an increase in clients coming their way. And of course, this is probably going to pan out to be an increase in actual money coming your way. And some of these people, if they're clients, could be unusual clients, intellectual type people, scientific type people. That is what we're talking about here, right? For others, in a very, very positive way, this could have you having the opportunity to see a marriage partner come into view at this time. If you do, these will be unusual people, maybe intellectual, maybe scientific, that come into view for you at this time, at this new moon. Because there's a big activation here of these interpersonal planets, right? Especially, the new moon itself, that degree of 20 degrees, isn't aspected by those inner planets. It's really the 0 degree, but they're all pinging around, right? And they will eventually, in February, all those personal planets will eventually hit that degree point of 20 degrees at that new moon. So there's a lot of activation here for you with regards to your partners. They may be bringing a lot of information to you, all positive, right? Now, when we look at that full moon, in Virgo, Leo, that's going to be in your second house. So the second house is the money that you earn, the money that you've got coming in, your value. You could be starting to look at, am I really being valued here? Do I need to change something up in my job? Do I need to have some discussions here to say, I want to have more money come into my life as a result of, I really feel I've increased my value here. For others, it may just, for some reason, have you ending some form of income that you have coming in. For others, it could have you maybe changing your job. And the reason I say that is because, of course, your income represents the money you make in the job you do. So there's going to be some Leos that make some change in their job because they want to earn more money. And it comes to light that I'm not being valued here and I need to do something about it. For others, you may decide to, or may have the opportunity to maybe end a job that has something to do with a service and or health. That may end for you. For others, you may literally be saying, yeah, sure, I'm earning this money, but it's affecting my health because I'm working too hard and I need to slow down on that. I need to go part-time. I want to retire soon. And so you make the decision that you're going to reduce the income that you have coming in, and you make the decision yourself and just go part-time. And the initiative behind that is that you want to take better care of your health and maybe just have more time where you can enjoy your family and or your friends. That would also be a good thing to do at this time. All right, Leo, take care of yourself. All right, Virgo, that new moon in Aquarius is going to be in your 6th house. Now, as a sign, you really kind of rule areas like health as well as service. So this is your house that you rule, Virgo, the 6th house. So I will take that as a positive. But this is a new start for many Virgos to take care of their health. That's it. And because we've got this activation of the inner planets, right? And so we're talking about Mars, we're talking about Mercury, we're talking about Venus, also in February in Aquarius. You're going to get lots of support. So for those Virgos that do want to take care of their health, to change up their health for the positive, to make a new start, This would be a great New Year's resolution to make at this new moon, right around this new moon, to change up your health, to take better care of yourself, right? Now, for others, that sixth house can also represent the day-to-day job. And if you're retired, it's whatever you do day to day. There's some kind of big new start here. And the new start could involve health for sure. Maybe you take on a job where you are now going to be a nutritionist of some sort. Maybe even mental health and or any kind of exercise type activity too. That could all be up where you make this new change to work in those areas of life now too. For others, it just may be a new job. Some Virgos just decide, I want to take on a new job here. And you may get some unexpected support to really make it all happen in February. That could be another good initiative for some Virgos to take, should you want to do that. When we look at that full moon in Virgo, well, we know it's your first house, right? So this is kind of a wrap up. So I'm thinking that say you do decide you want this new job and your old job ends at this time. So we're looking at the 24th of February. That would be a nice tie-up of starting a new job at the beginning of February or signing the paperwork for it. And then towards the end of the month, you close the door on an old job that you don't want to do anymore. That could be just something that would play out for some Virgos for sure. The other aspect that this could bring up is anything with regards to service orientation, anything with regards to your health. For some Virgos, it may be a final conclusion of bad health. Maybe you've had some kind of health crisis, and now you see that that's all over, that you've taken care of yourself, you've done what you needed to do, and that ill health crisis ends for you for some reason, right? But this could just have a wrap up in anything with regards to your first house that really needs to change. Now, you've got in opposition, you have both Neptune and Saturn. So this could have something to do with maybe you're looking at a manager of some sort that has been demanding and you just decide you don't want to do that anymore. So this full moon illuminates that and you say, I deserve better. And you decide to make those changes. And again, going back to that new moon at the beginning of the month, you change up your job. Or you could change within your organization, right? That you get an opportunity to close the door on something that isn't working well for you, that isn't serving you, right? That's affecting maybe your health. Make the change and everything should go well for you, right? Saturn in opposition can just be that reminder of, make sure the structures in your life are working. And certainly with Neptune in opposition, there could be some inspiration coming here. Just because it's in opposition doesn't mean it's going to be bad. So you might be inspired to make the changes so that the job that you're in, the things that you're doing day to day, mean more to you. All right. Take care of yourself, Virgo. So Libra, that new moon in Aquarius trines your sign nicely, bringing you favorable energy to your fifth house. Hey, for some Librans, you're just going to start a new love life here, straight off. For others, a child may come into view with some kind of new start. Well, that could equal somebody getting pregnant, either you, your partner. It can also be maybe a birth at this time for some Librans. It can, for other people, be a great time to start a new business, especially anything that brings in, say, social media or anything unusual, intellectual stuff can be highlighted here too, as well as anything humanitarian. That is also highlighted with regards to an Aquarian type energy. It's also scientific too. So there's a science element associated with Aquarius as well. But it can just bring in on the surface here, Libra, some opportunities, favorable opportunities to have fun. Have fun in expressing your authentic self. So that for some Librans is going to translate into I want to start my own business here so that I can express this unique creative talent that I have that I'm not able to do in my present job that I'm doing. And that decision is made around the 9th of February. You're going to get good support for that because we've got all those inner planets starting off with Mercury, then Mars, then Venus, all throughout February, conjuncting that point that I spoke about in my January video, which is that Sun conjunct Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius. That point is going to be conjuncted again and again throughout February. So you could look back to see, well, was there something that happened around that 20th of January that was significant in terms of my transformation or a wake-up call of some sort? I need to change something here. And now in February, you get more things coming in, probably people coming in, supporting you in that. And you're able to enact some kind of change there, especially with regards to, say, putting your own business together. Or even increasing your business through things like social media. You start getting these great ideas, maybe from other people, that you can do this, you can do that. And you see new ways of making more money in this business that you're going to start or continue. The full moon in Virgo is going to be in your 12th house. So this puts an accent on behind the scenes type work. It puts an accent on any behind the scenes type institutions. Typically we talk about hospitals, ashrams, prisons, government offices. Doesn't mean you're going to be going to hospital. It just says there may be some activity going on here that you have to get involved in. Now this activity, because this is a full moon in your 12th house, it could have some wrap up for some Librans with regards to maybe you've been having to go in and visit somebody in the hospital, and that ends now. It would be a nice or an easy type of thing to happen with this energy at the full moon, because we've got this influence of the Virgo aspect, and Virgo is very much about health and service and does kind of lend itself to a hospital-like setting. So that could be up for some Librans. For others, it may be that you just end maybe some trip that you've had, where maybe you've been visiting an ashram to get your health together. And your trip ends at this time very successfully. For others, it may be you have to end some way of dealing with things that are behind the scenes. Maybe you've been collecting all this information behind the scenes, maybe for the job that you do, and that all ends now. That information or important data is now put together, and you could bring it forward and say, okay, that project has ended. I can take it from behind the scenes and bring it out into the open, right? So there'll be some folks that'll be doing that too. The other thing that 12th house represents is rest. And so there's probably going to be some Librans that make that decision. They get this big spotlight saying, you're just working too hard. You need to take it easy here. And so you make the decision that I'm going to have some rest here. I need to take it easier in my life. And if you can combine that with the metaphysical world, maybe going to an ashram or taking up yoga, for instance, that would be a very good way of using that full moon in Virgo in the 12th house. Get some much needed rest, Libra. Take care of yourself, Libra. So Scorpio, that new moon in Aquarius squares your sign, and it involves your 4th house. So there's going to be some challenges with regards to your family, potentially your mother, your home, the one that you live in now, maybe your childhood home. So there's going to be some challenges here with regards to putting some new thing in effect. So, hey, there could be something where some Scorpios have just bought a home, and all of a sudden you start discovering different things in the home that don't work right or have to be fixed. Just put the effort in, that's the square, to get them fixed. But it could be a little bit annoying for you. You know, at that new moon, we're going to also have that annoying aspect and potentially, you know, an aspect of real frustration building up, maybe even some anger with that whole Sun square Uranus will be operating too. So there may be an added element here for some Scorpios where there's real frustration with some family members, or real frustration with the home, real frustration with maybe trying to buy a home or sell a home. Know that this will pass. Have patience is what I would say, as best you can. Take deep breaths. Talk to people about maybe the issues that you're having and see if you can elicit some help in this area that you're having some challenges in. I would say that's the best way, but I caution you not to lash out. That's not going to work at this point, okay? Even though you're going to want to. This will pass. So we've got that full moon in Virgo. And so this is a positive aspect for you, Scorpio. It forms a sextile, and it forms a sextile and involves your 11th house. So this says to me just what I talked about, elicit some help from friends or groups you belong to. I would say that certainly towards the end of the month at that full moon, there could be some assistance here with regards to some friends or groups that may help you with that frustration up in the family or the home that you're in. Okay, that's enough said. The full moon itself is going to put a big spotlight on the friends that you have and the groups that you belong to. You may decide to end some friendships at this time. That's kind of classic astrology. You may be given the opportunities to stop being involved in some groups that you're in. Maybe you've decided they just don't support you the way you want and you let them go. There may be an element here of, because it's Virgo, we're talking about service and we're talking about health as well. So there may be some illumination, and maybe it's literally there's an illumination on your health and you've been maybe doing too much with friends, socializing too much, putting too much energy into these groups. Maybe you've been volunteering a lot of your time in some of the groups and you just say, I've got to end this. I've got to stop this. It's not helping me have a balanced life. That's what I'm thinking could be up for some Scorpios here. But it's a change up, a positive potential change up with regards to your friends, I think. New friends coming in that really support you, that maybe provide some service for you that's of use to you. Maybe some of these friends are really into their health, that they like to do regular exercise. Maybe you belong to a bicycle club now. You decide, I want to form friendships with people who like to exercise, and you, for instance, like to bicycle. So you decide to get involved in this group that has a regular bicycle type route. And that assists you in your health, that you put a focus on that now. For others too, it could have the opportunity where you, this kind of refers back to sort of like your New Year's resolutions, where you look at some of your goals that you've had for yourself, some of your wishes, some of your dreams, and you say, I need to tweak those a little bit. I want to make different opportunities for myself in those areas. So that's another thing that the 11th house. The 11th house also, for those Scorpios that have their own business, this is going to be opportunities for you to maybe end some way of making money through your own business and other ways of actually making money in your own business. So it's opportunities, and these opportunities might come through friends that you have. Friends bring some opportunities your way that allow you to stop something with regards to the income you get in your own business and put new ones in for yourself too. I mean, you favorably, Scorpio, have Saturn in Pisces trining your sign. So certainly this is giving you opportunities to put new structures in your life in a very positive way, in an easy way. Changing up structures is not going to be so difficult with that influence of Saturn trining your sign. And certainly with Neptune trining your sign, inspiration will be there. So where there's frustration in February, Scorpio, know that there's also inspiring people and friends that can be there for you to support you in whatever challenges come up for you in February. Take care of yourself, Scorpio. All right, Sagittarius. Well, anything in Aquarius sextiles your sign, right? So this is really positive for you, especially as this whole new moon in Aquarius affects your third house in a very positive way, giving you lots of opportunities to communicate, to take short journeys, to write, to put any kind of initiatives together to do with sales and commerce. And certainly if we go back to the writing part of it, this could be opportunities for you to do something very unusual with regards to writing things. There may be an element, a foreign element of some sort brought in here too. Maybe you'll be working with foreign people on a writing project, or putting together a initiative in sales or commerce, but there's a foreign connection involved with it. All very positive for you. New opportunities in all these areas is brought in at this new moon. Now, we also have these, interpersonal planets that'll be pinging that point that I spoke about around the 20th of January, where we're going to have this significant conjunction of the Sun and Pluto in 0 degrees of Aquarius. And certainly Sagittarius, if you've got anything around that degree point, February could be quite interesting for you with regards to communications being sped up and opportunities being given to you. Yeah. New starts for you in this area. Very positive new opportunities for you should you decide you want to take them up, right? Now, when we look at that full moon in Virgo, Sagittarius, it squares your sign and it affects the 10th house. So the 10th house essentially is your career, but it also represents your social standing, your reputation, your career from the standpoint of the job that you're doing. So this could bring you challenges with regards to the job that you're doing, your career that you're developing. You bump up against some challenges. Maybe you are asked to take further education, or even get a new skill set together. And maybe you don't want to do it. But I would say that in terms of you becoming better with regards to details, this could really be of assistance to you. So whatever challenges come up in your career, it's really for you to, first of all, get the details together in an appropriate way, especially the important details. Virgo is all about the important details as well. But there could be also, for some Sagittarians, some issue comes up with your health that affects your career. And that could be anything. It could be something as not as simple as, but because everybody seems to work hard these days, working too hard, that you feel you're putting too much work into your job and it's never ending, that you're finding this a big challenge because it's kind of affecting your health. And it could be your mental health is being affected here just as much as your physical health. But there's something that you need to resolve here that is related to your health, that's related to the service that you're giving into your career, that there has to be an adjustment made, especially according to you. You're going to be feeling this, Sagittarius. For others, it might just be at this full moon that you decide, I'm not working at this career anymore. I'm not working at this job anymore. It's not helping my health, my mental health, my physical health. And it's not of service to me. It's not helping me. I'm giving out all the time. And so at this full moon, around the 24th of February, you decide, I'm going to leave that job. I need to leave the job for my mental health and my physical health, right? Yeah, that new moon, Sagittarius, is potentially setting up something really good for you. If you're given an opportunity, say, to do a job where you're either writing or collecting some information of some sort, or some kind of communications, and this could be social media too, really look at it carefully, because those opportunities that are presented at the new moon could help you decide what to do in your career, and the frustrations that you may be having in your career. That new beginnings, maybe in social media, in writing, in short journeys, can help you make these decisions in your career towards the end of the month. You'll have lots of support at that new moon. Don't forget that, right? All right, Sagittarius, take care of yourself. So Capricorn, that new moon in Aquarius is in your second house. So the second house is the money that you earn through income. It is values, especially value of self. It is also your possessions. So at the new moon, you may do an increase in all these areas. You may get an unexpected bonus come your way, an unexpected decision to increase your income, your pay increases. And certainly if you've got, say, reviews around this point, like yearly reviews around February, this could be an announcement given to you that we're going to give you more money here because we really value what you do. It's all new starts. It could also have you earning money just straight off through social media, right? Because Aquarius is very social media. It's also humanitarian type initiatives as well. That could be, it's also scientific. So for some Capricorns, you may be taking a new job that has some scientific element here, an intellectual element where you earn money. But it's very supportive because we've got all those inner planets also in February in Aquarius too, activating this whole area of your life in a very, very positive way. Just on the surface, some Capricorns are going to have an increase of income come their way and be very happy about it. Now, when we look at the full moon, that is in Virgo, a fellow earth sign. And of course, it trines your sign Capricorn and involves the 9th house. So for some Capricorns, this may be you literally ending some travel of some sort. For other Capricorns, you maybe can see the light in the very near future of wrapping up an advanced degree. For others, it might be publishing that work that you've been working so hard on, whether it's data-driven or literally writing a story of some sort. For others, it's a wrap-up of some kind of legal matter. And this is a trine, Capricorn, so this is a positive, beaming energy to this house. The 9th house is also foreign people, foreign things, generally speaking, and that's where the sort of idea of travel comes. But this could have you wrapping up maybe some initiative that you've been involved in with foreign people and foreign things. For others, Capricorns could be one of two things. Deciding that you're going to leave this foreign location that you've been living in for a while and go back home. But the reverse could happen too, that you make this decision, I'm going to leave my country and go live in a foreign country with foreign people, that foreign connection comes in. Now, you have a few things happening here with regards to both Jupiter and Jupiter and Uranus. They're in a fellow earth sign, and of course that trines you as well. Taurus trines you. And so you're going to have some interesting activation as well when we have that whole Jupiter conjunct Uranus in Taurus in April, because that's going to be forming a trine with you. And so there's probably going to be some very favorable thing that unexpectedly happens for you that'll be very, very positive. Maybe some new opportunities come up for you, but I'll talk more about that in April. But that's going to be something that's going to be really, really good for you. Probably a once-in-a-lifetime thing, Capricorn. And Capricorn, you've had your long stay of Pluto in your sign. This year, it does go back. Pluto does dip back for a short time period to 29 degrees. So certainly, there could be those folks that have an influence of that whole 29 degree mark, but know that this year, 2024, is the very last time that you will be entertaining Pluto in your sign, Capricorn. And in fact, look back to around January 20th, 2024, and for some cases, it won't have happened yet because I'm making this video mid-January. But look back to that to see what happens around that time period, because we're going to be having the Sun conjunct Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius. And that's going to be pinging that second house, right? So that's going to pan out into the new moon that I just spoke about in Aquarius. But also those personal planets are all going to be coming in to support you too in your second house. So I would say there's going to be, for you in February, your big focus is going to be on this whole new initiative with the money that you're making and support through probably connections with social media. So you can start thinking about that. If you watch this video right off when I publish, so this is mid-January, maybe spend some time thinking about some of those areas of where you can earn income that you've not yet initiated. Going to get opportunities at that new moon on the 9th of February and get full support. All right, take care of yourself, Capricorn. Okay, so that's my wrap up of February 2024. I'm really looking forward to this year. I think it's a year of really, I think, lots of new initiatives, some of them coming in unexpectedly for all of us, and just, I think, a better outlook for, really expressing who we are, what we want to do, and getting opportunities to do it this year. I feel that very strongly. So look, everybody, take care of yourself. I'm sending everybody a lot of love. And yeah, February is going to be pretty exciting, I think. So enjoy February, and we'll talk to you next month in March. Bye for now. Hi, everyone. It's Elizabeth here from Alpes Astrology. I'd like just to give you a little more detail about what I do with regards to the services I can offer you. Certainly, I suggest that if you've not had your chart ever done, this would be a good time to do it. Contact me. All my contact details are below, and we can talk to each other back and forth and arrange something for you. So I offer different services. I offer a full astrology report for two of my services. One is where I look at both your natal chart and your progress chart in detail. I accompany that with a physical chart, as well as your charts that I'm looking at for that year. I do what's called a transit chart, which really involves your progressed chart for that year in combination with your natal chart. I give you a report for that as well. Typically, I'd be updating an existing report for you. I have a lot of clients that come back to me yearly. And then the other service that I offer is a combination of taking a quick look at the astrology. Typically would be a year or 2 year, what stands out for me, looking at that, and then adding in at the end a tarot card reading to accompany it. I record that and send that to you pre-recorded. So that's not a live session. The other two that I do are live session. And then I offer, obviously, custom. I do a lot of picking marriage dates, compatibility. I typically use what are called Davison charts or synastry as well, where I can combine two charts to see how do these two charts of these people work together. More often, it's going to be sort of romantic relationships, but it can also be business relationships too. How well do we work together type thing by producing one chart. So I do all that. As I said, I would love to do your chart. Contact me below, and we can work together to make that happen